Hey guys, Alex Sutherland here. You may know me as A Seth from Card Runners, and today I'm making a tutorial video for you guys on how to use my new favorite GTO tool, Simple PostFlop. And Simple PostFlop is pretty similar to GTO Range Builder. It can do the same types of GTO calculations that you're used to GTO Range Builder being able to do. It has a little bit less customization in terms of giving you complete control over the game tree, but it has a much faster engine, so you can really whip out especially flop solutions quickly. It also has a feature that I'm a huge fan of, which is that you can lock in strategies and compute minimally exploitative strategies. And this is something I've been meaning to add to GTO Range Builder for a long time. I just haven't had the time to do. I'm really excited to see someone else do it. The creators of this program are Russian, so they're not native English speakers. So I offered to help them out and make an English tutorial video so that those of you who are English speakers can learn to use it easily. If you have any feedback on how the software can be better, let me know, or you can let them know directly, and I'll pass it on. I'll also put a link to download the software below. Full disclosure, I do get affiliate revenue if you click my link, as we are working together to try and help each other make both GTO Range Builder and Simple PostFlop better. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is Simple PostflopTutorial. They have two versions. There's a software as a service version, so that's this SAS, and there's a standalone version that lets you run the calculations locally on your desktop. If you have the software as a service version, it will send the calculation up to their server to be run in the cloud, and then you can go and check on your solutions. They'll show up here in a list of the solutions you've ran. You can click on one to download and open it. Which one you prefer is probably a bit of a matter of personal preference. The cloud version has a maximum of 100 computations per month. I don't think many people need to run more than 100 computations per month, so my guess is for most people that won't be a problem. The desktop version gives you unlimited calculations, but you have to run them on your own desktop, and while you're running a calculation, it's going to eat up, most of your CPU. Turn and river calculations are very quick, seconds or minutes. Flop calculations can be a little while. Usually the cloud version, they're ready in about an hour in my experience. And on the desktop ones, depending on the size of the computation you're trying to do, it can be 10 or 15 minutes to an hour or more. The desktop version does also let you specify exactly what accuracy, or you get three choices of low, medium, high accuracy of what you want to run a solution to, whereas the cloud version, they pick their own accuracy for you. In general, their Nash distances are extremely good. Most of the solutions I've ran, I've been very happy with the level of accuracy. This one shows a higher accuracy, but that is actually not reflecting the true Nash distance. That's a minimally exploitative calc, and for the exploitative calcs, they include the magnitude of exploitation in the Nash distance calculation. So this is not actually reflecting the accuracy of this calculation. So let's get into it. The first step, just like with GTO Range Builder, is that you need to set a board, a starting street, effective stacks, and a pot. So to start with, I'm going to go ahead and just set up the Ace King Queen game so you guys can see exactly how this works. They've also been very helpful and worked with me a bit to make importing scenarios from GTO Range Builder very easy. You can paste ranges directly from GTO Range Builder into Simple PostFlop, and we're working hopefully on having a system in the future where you can actually paste a whole scenario from GTO Range Builder directly into Simple PostFlop, but that is not done yet. So I'm going to set up a Ace King Queen game here with a 50 chip pot, a 20 chip effective stack. One thing to note is that Simple PostFlop does everything in terms of big blinds, and there is a maximum effective stack of 200 big blinds. So with GTO Range Builder, if you're playing 5-10, it lets you enter amounts kind of as 10 chips and chips. Here you always want to enter things in big blinds. Now the next step is to set up your bet sizing. Just like with GTO Range Builder, you can manually go in and edit parts of the game tree. You can only edit the street that the situation starts on, but they have a similar set of default bet sizes that you can set up. So there's a variety of settings here. There's the amount to use on each street. This one's using a 3/4 pot bet on the river, and we're going to be running a river situation here. And then you can do first action all in, which is kind of like GTO Range Builder's include a shove. This means that at every node the player will be able to shove or bet the specified amount. I'm going to check this because I only gave them a half pot bet, so it'll do a shove. You can do last action always all in, which means that a player will always be able to shove once they reach a chip threshold such that the specified pot bet is not possible anymore. Then round to nearest rounds the bet sizes, to the nearest dollar amount if I were to set this to 1, or to the nearest big blind amount. And all in if more than percentage of stack says that if there's a bet size that would commit more than, in this case, 90% of your stack, don't bet 90% of your stack, bet all in instead. You can set a maximum number of bets here, up to 4. This is the number of back and forth raises for this specific street that is allowed. And then obviously if you're doing this across multiple streets, you can specify these percentages street by street. You can also save and load bet sizings. So we'll leave that as is for now. In simple postflop, you specify separate bet sizes for each player. The player 1 is always meaning out of position, player 2 is always meaning in position. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave this as last action all in, because again, in this particular scenario, we're just going to be looking at a simple ace, king, queen game shove. So if we want to run this, the next step is we click apply situation, and that sets up the game tree. And now we have our game tree that we can navigate down here and expand and preview before we run the scenario. And this is kind of analogous to the tree editor in GTO Range Builder, just as a text format instead of visual. And we can also get in here and we can add and delete nodes. So if you right click on a node, you can choose to delete the node, edit the node. If you edit the node, you can change its bet size. This should be very familiar to anyone who's used the GTO Range Builder editor. And then you can also click on a node like this to add a node if you want to. We're not going to do that for now, just demoing the functionality. What we'll do next is we need to put in hand ranges for each player. So like I said, we're going to be doing the ace, king, queen game here. So I'm going to empty out everything here. And then we will do a full weight on aces, kings, and queens. You can specify any suit combinations you want. They have suit filters here. And then you can also do a weighting here. So if I wanted to say something like only use the aces combos that have a heart and weight those at 90%, I'd set up my filters like this, click on my node here, and I would be all set. As you can see, it will also show you the range string down here in GTO Range Builder format. So you can always paste strings back and forth between the programs, and you can paste strings directly in here from GTO Range Builder if it's in your clipboard. You click the paste button, and you're all set. You can also save hand ranges for later use, so I can save this as, ace, king, queen range. And once we're set, we click apply. And then obviously we can use the same range for the other player here, and click calculate. And there you go, we got our solution. Now I've gone ahead and computed the same solution in GTO Range Builder, so we can just compare here. We see the EVs are 26.23, 23.77, and we get an exact match here. I've done significant testing on both programs, and as far as I can tell, they are both always accurate to within the given Nash distances that they list. The one thing that is worth noting is that the way GTO Range Builder and Simple PostFlop report aggregate frequencies is a little bit different. GTO Range Builder simulates the two strategies playing against each other and incorporates blocker effects into action frequencies when it displays the aggregate frequencies, like how often hero bets, whereas Simple PostFlop does not. So it reports just the percentage of the hero's range that they bet with here, not considering that after the villain checks, blockers shift the hero's range to have stronger hands because the villain bets with his aces, for example. So you may see differences in aggregate frequencies. I think Simple PostFlop is going to change the way they measure those in the future. And if we actually compare combo by combo specific frequencies of action, then we will get an exact match. So for example, here this is what player 2 in position bets or checks with. And if we look at a similar thing here in GTO Range Builder and put them up side by side, we'll see they both have, always bet with aces, With kings, we have a 7.77% bet frequency. And with GTO Range Builder, sorry, we have exactly the same, but it rounds to the nearest percent. And then with queens, we have 33% and exactly the same in simple post flop. So that is how you set up a simple river scenario. The results match exactly. The really powerful parts of the program are the ability to run flop calcs on, either in the cloud or on your desktop, and then the ability to do minimally exploitative play. So the minimally exploitative play stuff I will demo quickly here. I also have a full in-depth strategy video that I made using simple postflop that I encourage you guys to check out. It's on my blog under minimally exploitative play, and I will post a link to that blog post in the YouTube comments of this video. Just to give you guys a quick demo of how that works, the basic idea is very simple. You can go into the game tree here and lock in a certain part of the strategy that might be some leak that you're looking to exploit, and then you can resolve for equilibrium with the condition that that particular part of the strategy is locked and cannot be changed. So that's how you set up simple situations. The next thing I want to do is go through how to run a flop scenario. So I've cleared everything out so we can start from scratch. You'll need to put in some board cards. Again, I put in effective stacks and a main pot. This is a 2.5 button open and a big blind call in a 6-max game. Just as before, we'll put in bet sizes. I put in 2/3 of the pot for the flop and 3/4 after that. When you do it for both players. So 2/3 and 3/4 after that. Click apply. Again, we can apply situation and make sure that our bet sizes all look good, and they do. And so then you would have some options once you've done this. The first option, if you have a standalone desktop license, you would just click, you can go to settings and you can choose whether you want to calculate things in the cloud or not. If I set this to local, I can choose my accuracy. I'll leave it low for now. I can click calculate flop and it will start working on it. As it runs, it'll tell you the Nash distance that it's currently at once it gets a little further along, and you can choose to click stop at any time. A scenario like this will probably take 20 minutes or so to run, so I'm not actually going to run it right now on video. The other option you can do is you can stop. Sorry. It can be a little laggy while turning while your computer. So it'll, it tried for a few seconds, didn't get good Nash distance, we can just ignore that. The other option you can do is you can go to settings here, and if you have it on remote, if you have a cloud license, you need to go up here. The situations panel will show you all the situations you computed in the past, and you can open any of them at any time. So I would go here, I'd click calculate flop. It would say, it's been sent to the server, and then it would show up in my list here as calculating. It would not show up as complete. And then once their servers had finished the calculation, it would be complete. I could download it just like this one, for example. The server calculations usually take about an hour, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little shorter. For the purposes of this, I'm going to go ahead and open a solution. When you calculate something with the desktop version, you can save the file to your hard drive, and I have a file like that here. And this scenario was designed to exactly mimic this scenario from GTO Range Builder. So the way I got the ranges is I just went into the hero start range, selected the text here, and you can paste those strings directly into the range. So you're just using the paste command, you paste them in here. Oops, that was for the other player, so don't want to do that. But you get the idea. You can just paste directly back and forth as you need to, and then we can start browsing the solution. So, again, gtorbs in chips rather than big blinds. The big blind is 10 chips here. So you see very slight 0.002 chip difference in EVs, but that's within the sum of the Nash distances. Extremely accurate calculation in both cases here. And in most cases, I think simple postflop's a little more accurate than gtorb. The one thing I want to highlight in this more advanced scenario that's multiple streets is how you actually go to browse a turn run out. So if you want to do that, what you need to do is navigate in the tree to a node that goes to the turn. So this is like check, check. And then this is equivalent to the gtorb node that is here to turn. And once you've done that, you can then go click on the turn card, pick a turn runout, and then this turn actions box will fill in. And now I can go ahead and click calculate turn, and it will send this turn calculation to the server and calculate it on the fly. This is basically the equivalent of in gtorb if I were to click to turn and click the 10 of spades and download that solution. So the turn calculations take, 15 to 30 seconds usually if you want to browse turn runouts. So it's reasonably quick, not too big a deal. And once it's done, that'll load in, and now we can browse the turn portion of the tree just like we could the flop portion before. And if we want to go to the river, it's the exact same process. And again, very close EV matches on this turn between GTO Range Builder and Simple Postflop. I think you can definitely completely trust the Simple Postflop results. So again, to get to a river is the exact same. We'd pick a river card, fill it in, click calculate river. River calculations are going to be basically instant. And I think that is all that you guys need to know to fully use this program. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments, post them in my blog, or email gtorangebuilder@gmail.com, or you can contact the Simple Postflop guys directly. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.